Have you ever felt the heartache of witnessing a beloved team teeter on the brink of disaster? That's exactly what Dallas Mavericks fans are grappling with right now. A month ago, an audacious trade had everyone buzzing. Luka Doncic swapped for Anthony Davis. It was a move that promised greatness, but instead seems to have set the stage for calamity. What unfolded since has left fans reeling and the franchise questioning its very future. Buckle up, because the twists and turns in this story are like nothing you've seen before. When the Dallas Mavericks pulled the trigger on the monumental trade that sent star player Luka Doncic packing to acquire Anthony Davis, fans were buzzing with excitement. But that excitement quickly turned to dread. Just moments into his debut, Davis took an awkward fall, leading to a significant injury that would leave the Mavericks holding their breath. The hyperbole surrounding the trade shifted dramatically. What was supposed to be a championship-caliber duo quickly turned into a nightmare scenario. As if fate were reveling in irony, Kyrie Irving stepped up as the bedrock of the team in Davis's absence. Unfortunately, Kyrie's resilience was short-lived. In a crucial game against the Sacramento Kings, he suffered a brutal ACL tear that sent shockwaves throughout the Mavericks organization. With both superstars sidelined, the Mavericks faced the harsh reality of a disintegrating season that barely had time to get off the ground. Frustration brewed among the fanbase, who once celebrated the decision to trade for Davis and Irving. They felt betrayed, now watching their team plummet in the standings while management scrambled to explain the sudden turn of events. The narrative shifted from high hopes for a deep playoff run to survival mode, as coaches were left to navigate a team riddled with injuries and uncertainty. Ultimately, this shocking trade, filled with the promise of glory, has instead exposed the vulnerabilities of the Mavericks. The bright lights turned dim as fans realized this wasn't just a rough patch. It was an all-too-real fracture in their championship dreams. And so, the question looms. Can the Mavs recover from this harrowing fallout? Or is this just the beginning of a downward spiral? The clock is ticking, and the stakes couldn't be higher. The waves of disbelief washed over the Mavericks fanbase almost instantly. What was supposed to be a new beginning quickly turned into an emotional roller coaster. Fans showed up to games wearing shirts emblazoned with "We want Luka back," as protests erupted outside the arena, echoing feelings of betrayal. The atmosphere was thick with tension, and it escalated when several passionate fans were escorted out for expressing their grievances toward management. Social media turned into a battleground with hashtags like #MavsMeltdown trending overnight. Analysts and commentators weighed in, questioning the trade strategy. Did the front office make a colossal miscalculation? Many argued that trading someone with the potential of Doncic for a player with injury issues like Davis was short-sighted at best. Even some former players expressed their disbelief, with one stating, "You don't trade a foundational player unless you're absolutely sure." This move reeked of desperation. As anger brewed, the Mavericks organization found itself navigating uncharted waters. Fans demanded to hear more from management about the plan moving forward. The uncertainty of the future and critical role Kyrie was now forced into only added fuel to the fire. How could a franchise survive when its devoted supporters were divided, questioning every decision made? With each passing day, the discontent only seemed to grow. To make matters worse, speculation began regarding the owner's commitment to the team, with whispers that he was considering selling a percentage of the franchise. Could that be a marker of instability at a level fans have never experienced? With discontent brewing and trust eroding, it became clear that the Mavericks were facing not just a team reconfiguration, but a relatable crisis with their loyal fan base. But that wasn't all. The reactions from the fandom also sparked debates among players. Some argued that the lack of communication from the front office was demoralizing, while others voiced their concern about Kyrie being thrust into a leadership role without the usual support system he'd come to expect. As the season continued, fans and players alike were left grappling with questions about where the organization was heading. In the world of sports, passion and controversy often go hand in hand. And in this case, the Dallas Mavericks were caught right in the storm, struggling to keep the ship steady amid tumultuous waters. The ordeal didn't just affect the games. It shook the very foundations of what it meant to be a part of the Mavericks family. What would happen next? Only time would tell, but for fans, the most pressing question lingered. Could the Mavericks restore trust and regain their footing, Or was the writing on the wall for a franchise in crisis? As the dust settled from the shocking trade, all eyes turned to Kyrie Irving. The weight of the team's hopes rested squarely on his shoulders. Once considered a game-changer and a superstar in his own right, Kyrie's expectations soared post-trade. He was now seen as the lone leader capable of guiding the Mavericks through this stormy season without Luka. But the reality proved to be far more complex. Every game felt like a marathon, with Kyrie clocking in intense minutes night after night. The pressure mounted, not just to perform, but to rejuvenate a struggling franchise. Upon making the trade, many thought the Mavs could lean on Kyrie's versatility and skill, but would he be able to carry the team on his back? The early signs were promising as he tried to mesh with the remaining roster, displaying flashes of brilliance. However, the relentless grind took its toll. Kyrie began to face exhaustion, battling both physical fatigue and mental strain. As games went on, it became clear that the ambitious expectations were starting to chip away at his performance. While he managed to dazzle fans with incredible plays, his consistency waned, and whispers of potential injury began to circulate. Playing through discomfort, Kyrie pushed on, hoping to prove that the Mavericks' trust in him was well placed. But was he truly ready for this role? This was more than just basketball. It was about loyalty, leadership, and overcoming doubt. As losses piled up, critics emerged, questioning Kyrie's commitment and ability to lead the franchise. His heavy burden became not just about stats or wins, but about the fate of the entire season. Fans relied on him desperately, but was it realistic to expect one player to shoulder such immense pressure and transform the Mavericks' fortunes overnight? And then, tragedy struck. In the midst of a crucial game, the unthinkable happened. Kyrie went down, clutching his knee. The atmosphere shifted, and the collective gasp of Mavericks fans echoed throughout the arena. It wasn't just an injury, it was a potential defining moment for the franchise. In one swift moment, the dreams of a playoff run seemed to crumble. The oppressive weight of expectation now turned into an agonizing sense of uncertainty for both Kyrie and the entire organization. As we look at Kyrie's journey, it raises a poignant question. Can one player truly be the cornerstone of a franchise, or is basketball a team effort where shared responsibilities are essential for success? What unfolded next in his recovery, along with the Mavericks' resilience in the wake of his injury, would determine the destiny of not only Kyrie but the very future of the Dallas Mavericks. The injury bug has hit the Mavericks hard, impacting their playoff aspirations significantly. Key players like Derek Lively and Daniel Gafford have both struggled with their health, leaving the team scrambling for depth. As the losses pile up, the opportunities to build momentum and team chemistry have also slipped away. Think about it. When your big man is sidelined, the team's defensive structure crumbles, and without reliable scoring off the bench, making a comeback becomes nearly impossible. This strain has thrown the rotation into chaos, forcing the coaching staff to shuffle players around in an attempt to compensate. Unfortunately, this lack of stability has made it difficult for the bench to step up when it matters most. To exacerbate the situation, with Kyrie now facing his own injury challenges, the Mavs find themselves in a race against time. Every game lost damages their hopes of clinching a favorable playoff position. And while fans hope for miraculous recoveries, the reality is that the clock is ticking and the playoff window is narrowing fast. Now, let's not forget the impact on young players hungry for a chance to prove themselves. Opportunities to gain valuable experience in high-stakes games are slipping through their fingers. As the team struggles to stay afloat, new talent risks remaining in the shadows, deprived of the chance to shine on a big stage. What will this mean for the Mavericks' future? Will they be able to rebound and adapt? Or are they facing a long road to recovery that could spell doom for their aspirations? The drama is just beginning, and fans are left holding their breath, wondering if this is merely a bump in the road or a serious derailment of their championship dreams. As the injury reports come in, one thing is clear. Health is wealth in the NBA, and the Mavericks are desperately searching for both. With the Mavericks sinking deeper into uncertainty, the future of the franchise hangs in the balance. Fans and analysts alike are left grappling with profound questions. What does the team's long-term strategy look like now that Luka and Davis are no longer the undeniable cornerstones? With Kyrie's injury, will he even return to his previous form? And if so, What kind of contract should the Mavericks extend to him? The looming specter of free agency adds another layer. Will he opt to stay and help rebuild, or will he chase greener pastures? Additionally, how will the front office address the apparent lack of depth? With key players sidelined, adjustments must be made to avoid this year's struggles from becoming a pattern. The Mavericks have a crossroads moment, a chance to pivot towards either rebuilding or reshaping their team dynamics. Can they coax hidden potential from the roster's younger talent, or will they seek new stars through trades? Right now, the question of whether Dallas can recover from injuries and management decisions that feel rushed raises doubt among fans. Are the Mavericks on a path back to prosperity, or is this year a harbinger of darker days ahead? These questions loom large as Dallas aims to solidify its identity in an unforgiving league. The answers could define the franchise for years to come. As we dive deeper into Kyrie Irving's situation, it's hard not to feel the weight of his impending free agency hanging in the air like a thick fog. Just a few months ago, he was the centerpiece of the Mavericks' aspirations. But with injuries clouding his future, everything has become uncertain. Teams across the league are now left questioning his value, wondering if the risk outweighs the reward. Initially, Kyrie had the potential to command a max deal based on his incredible skill set and past achievements. However, with his ACL injury not only sidelining him for an indefinite time, but also raising red flags about his durability, many franchises are hesitating. This begs the question, will he opt to stick with the Mavericks and play it safe by taking his player option, or will he gamble on himself in the hopes of recovering and securing a bigger payday elsewhere? The prospect of hitting the open market was supposed to mark the beginning of an exciting new chapter for Kyrie. Instead, he now faces the bitter reality of uncertainty. Will teams be willing to invest heavily in a star with an injury history? The whispers of interest have cooled significantly, but every fan and analyst is still scratching their heads, trying to gauge where he stands in the free agency landscape. As he sits on the sidelines, the fate of his future deals hangs in the balance. Will injury concerns push him to accept a lesser contract just to secure his spot, or can he find a team willing to take the plunge? Only time will tell, but for now, Kyrie is left grappling with the stark reality that his talent alone may no longer justify top-tier money in the ever-competitive NBA. The clock is ticking, and the stakes couldn't be higher. As the dust settles on this chaotic season, the implications extend beyond just player injuries and losses on the court. The Mavericks find themselves at a crucial crossroads, grappling with the realities of managing expectations and the financial intricacies of their roster. The question looms, can they pivot effectively without their star, Luka, and with their new acquisitions now struggling to stay healthy? With Davis sidelined and Irving facing a long recovery, the franchise is left with a glaring need for depth and strategic vision. There's an urgent call for the front office to carefully evaluate their core players while exploring potential trades and releases. This isn't just a season to salvage. It's about shaping a viable future. Fans want to trust the organization to make smart decisions, but doubt creeps in as every misstep has the potential to deepen the wounds. Younger players are being thrust into significantly more playing time, whether they're ready or not. This crash course means taking risks and dealing with the growing pains that come with it, adding to the pressure faced by coaching staff and management. The real challenge lies in fostering talent amidst the chaos, all while keeping the fan base engaged and hopeful for a brighter tomorrow. The impact of this season will ripple into free agency talks, where the Mavericks must consider not only retaining Kyrie, but also rebuilding around him, assuming he opts to stay. With his health status uncertain, every decision made will revolve around potential scenarios. What if he leaves? What if his recovery lingers? The stakes have never been higher, with the Mavericks standing at a precarious edge that could determine their fate for years to come. In conclusion, the current struggles of the Mavericks unveil a larger narrative of resilience and adaptability. As they navigate through injuries and mounting pressures, the path forward requires more than just strategic player choices. It demands a redefined vision that can inspire confidence in the franchise moving ahead. The question is, will they find their way back to contention before it's too late? The fate of the Mavericks hinges on the answer. As the dust settles on this tumultuous season for the Dallas Mavericks, the implications of their recent decisions are staggering. The departure of Luka Doncic, amplified by Anthony Davis's early injury and Kyrie Irving's ACL setback, has left fans questioning the very foundation of the franchise. Will they be able to recover from this precarious situation, or is this the beginning of a long rebuild? The challenges ahead are significant, but the path to redemption is always possible in the NBA. The Mavericks have a chance to turn this crisis into an opportunity by making strategic decisions in the offseason and potentially reshaping the team. However, it's clear that the clock is ticking and every decision will be scrutinized. For the dedicated Mavericks fans, the feeling of uncertainty is palpable. Once a team with championship aspirations, they are now at a crossroads. What comes next could define the franchise for years to come. The loyal fanbase will be watching closely, holding their breath as they hope for a turnaround. In the grand scheme of basketball, it's not just about the immediate results. It's about how a team rises from adversity and thrives in the future. The road ahead is fraught with questions, but for the Mavericks, every moment will count. What will they do next? Only time will tell.